5 minutes ago, the truth finally came out. The dream of seeing Cardinal Luis Tagle become the next pope, what many believed was within reach, suddenly disappeared in smoke, and now the world is asking one question. Was he attacked? By the very cardinals who once praised him. This wasn't just a political loss. It felt like a betrayal to millions. Cardinal Tagle, known lovingly as the Asian Francis, had everything people hoped for in a future pope. He was warm, deeply spiritual, and spoke with the heart of a servant. His ability to bring East and West together wasn't just symbolic, it was real, proven through years of leadership in the Vatican and service across the world. But despite all the signs pointing in his favor, he was quietly passed over. Now the whispers inside Vatican walls are growing louder. Something happened behind the scenes. The 2025 papal conclave had started with high hopes. For the Philippines and much of Asia, Cardinal Tagle wasn't just a contender, he was the choice. In local churches, in crowded cities, in rural villages, Catholics were glued to every bit of news coming out of Rome. He was their hero, their voice in the Vatican, the one they believed would finally sit on the chair of St. Peter. He had the right background. Former Archbishop of Manila, fluent in many languages, a trusted leader of major departments in the Vatican. His work in global charity and evangelization made him a key player. And most importantly, his humble approach and deep empathy reminded the world of Pope Francis himself. And yet, when the white smoke rose above the Sistine Chapel, it wasn't Tagle who appeared on the balcony. It was someone else, an American cardinal, relatively unknown to most Catholics, Robert Francis Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV. The dream was gone. No announcement, no explanation, just silence. At first, many believed it was simply the outcome of a fair vote. The cardinals, 133 of them, had gathered in secrecy, and the rules were clear. 2/3 of the votes were needed. We may never know the exact numbers, but the shock was immediate. Millions of hearts sank. In Asia, the disappointment turned quickly to suspicion. Was something more going on? Social media lit up. Posts from disappointed Filipino Catholics began, using a powerful word, betrayal. Had Cardinal Tagle been pushed aside? Did some of the cardinals not want an Asian pope? Were there fears that he was too compassionate, too different, too bold in his views? Let's be clear, there is no hard proof that anyone plotted against Tagle. The conclave is one of the most secret and sacred gatherings in the Catholic Church. But sometimes betrayal doesn't look like knives or shouting. Sometimes it looks like silence in the face of justice, like quiet rejection. Behind closed doors, things had shifted. According to trusted insiders, Tagle didn't even make it to the final round of voting. And yet, no one publicly spoke against him. There were no dramatic fights. So what changed? One theory says it wasn't about who he was, it was about who he wasn't. Some cardinals, especially from Europe and Latin America, may have felt that choosing an Asian pope would be too radical. Pope Francis had already broken from tradition by coming from Argentina. Maybe this time they wanted to return to safer ground, to someone who felt more familiar. It wasn't personal, it was political, but there's more. Some quietly questioned Tagle's ability to manage the vast machinery of the Vatican. They admired his compassion, but wondered, could he handle the scandals, the bureaucracy, the finances? Could he clean up the mess? During his time overseeing Caritas Internationalis, there were reports of management concerns, not scandals, but enough to plant doubt. In contrast, Cardinal Robert Prevost was seen as steady, calm and methodical, a former missionary in Peru, a trained canon lawyer, and importantly, the man trusted by Pope Francis to lead the powerful office that oversees the appointment of bishops worldwide. While Tagle inspired emotion, Prevost inspired quiet confidence. No drama, just results. And so when the time came, the cardinals went with what they saw as the safe option. But let's return to that sense of betrayal. In the Philippines, the hurt ran deep. This wasn't just about losing an election, this was about losing a dream. Cardinal Tagle was their pope, even if he wasn't officially chosen. He had lived their life, he had cried with them, prayed with them, and shown them that faith could be humble, simple, and real. And when that dream disappeared, it felt personal. Yet Cardinal Tagle didn't respond with anger. He didn't go silent, he didn't play games or give cryptic interviews. He simply prayed, he smiled, he thanked God, and he continued to serve. Because that's who he is. He once said, "It's not about position, it's about mission." And even in the face of heartbreak, he stayed true to those words. Still, many are asking, will his influence now fade? Not likely. Even though his official role as pro-prefect of the dicastery for evangelization technically ended with Pope Francis's death, new popes often keep or promote trusted leaders. And Tagle is one of the most trusted figures in the entire church. His voice still matters. In fact, many believe Pope Leo XIV will lean on him for support, not just for political balance, but because the church needs his warmth, his humanity, his ability to connect with young people, with the poor, with cultures far from Rome. Some analysts say this could be the start of a new phase in Tagle's journey, not as Pope, but as the Church's heart. A quiet force, a counselor to the new Pope, a bridge between the powerful and the forgotten. So who is Pope Leo XIV? Before the conclave, few outside the Vatican knew him, but inside he was a key figure. Born in Chicago, a former missionary in Latin America, respected by conservatives and progressives alike. A quiet administrator, not a showman. He helped shape the future of the church by choosing bishops around the world. He kept a low profile, and in the end, that may have been what helped him. He didn't seek the papacy. He earned trust quietly. Now he carries the weight of leading over 1 billion souls. It won't be easy. The church is divided. Scandals still shake its foundations. Young people are drifting away, and many faithful, especially in the global south, still feel unseen. This is where Cardinal Tagle could play a crucial role, not as the leader, but as the healer. Imagine this, a pope who focuses on structure and stability, and a cardinal by his side who speaks with tears in his eyes and compassion in his heart. That balance may be exactly what the church needs, and that's what makes this moment so powerful. Was Tagle betrayed? Maybe not in the way we think, but he was overlooked, and to many that feels like betrayal. It's a silent rejection, a wound that will take time to heal, but he's not giving up, and neither should we. This story isn't just about who wears the white robes. It's about the millions who looked to Tagle and saw themselves. It's about the quiet strength of a man who wasn't chosen, but still chooses love. As one Filipino bishop said, "The Spirit has spoken. We trust the Lord's choice." And now, the Church walks forward, with Pope Leo XIV at the head and Cardinal